Hey there, thanks for checking out my video. In recent weeks and months, I've posted numerous times on Facebook about my upcoming trip to the UK, and the purpose of which is to research my third novel. This time I wanted to do something a little bit more personal, and that's why I'm making this video. This project is really dear to me for a number of reasons. I spent 15 years in fundamentalist Christianity and attending ex-gay groups that supposedly would help me overcome my sexuality, because I believed with the core of my being that was the worst thing I could be. In a nutshell, it was the worst, most torturous experience of my life, and it was drawn out over those 15 years. And while I went in a wide-eyed, hopeful, faith-filled teenager, I came out suicidally depressed 15 years later, and knew that there had to be a different way. It occurred to me one day that if I had been following God and His voice and His will all those years, it would have never taken me to a place where death seemed a better option than living. When I finally began to pull myself together, people encouraged me to write a memoir of the experience, and I tried. It was too painful to delve deeply into the true experience, the factual experience. So what I ended up doing is working with myth and metaphor and simile and coming up with a story. I believe stories do have the power to change minds. Already in the world we have tons of ex-gay memoirs and biographies, autobiographies. I wanted to do something a little different in exploring my experience. So I wrote Blood and Water. So far there are 2 Blood and Water books, and I am embarking on my 3rd. Through the Blood and Water series, I explore what it means to be so far removed from one's community and church world that they believe there's damned and there's absolutely no hope for them. What happens to a soul when they believe that they are so far removed from God that they're a monster? I'll give you a little secret. In my mind, my character Yorgos is not the monster that he thinks he is, but he behaves like one because that's what he's been told he is. So through the idea of vampirism and werewolves and all that kind of supernatural stuff, I explore many spiritual and religious themes that circle around the idea of who is in, who's out, who's acceptable, who's not, why. And would God really refuse someone who loved Him? Because in folklore, I did my research, in folklore, in the day when they really believed that vampires and werewolves and such existed, they believed that if this happened to someone, they were damned. There was absolutely no hope for them. Why would God do that? Isn't it possible that all of us, and this is true in the real world, I believe, all of us have gifts and things that unique talents that we are meant to use to help others, to encourage others. Those very same talents and things can be used to curse and destroy and hurt and harm. So I extend that in my supernatural world. Is there a way possibly that these creatures, that perhaps God gifted them for a reason, and they can use these unusual talents and gifts to help, to cure, to encourage? Anyhow, I'm exploring a lot through this story, and this particular one is going to explore the experience of, it's going to explore internalized homophobia and transphobia, and how when you've learned to so thoroughly hate who and what you are, you can't help but turn that hatred out toward others like you. So that's it. That's what I'm exploring in this book, and I need your help. I have saved and continue to save what money I can, and to make it through the summer, to make it through this trip and back, I still need to earn about $3,000. So can you help me? Any contribution helps, no matter how large or small. They all help. So $5, $2, can you help? I'd really appreciate it, because I want to get the story out in the world, and I really believe in the power of story. Story can change minds and hearts.